I won't have my patients or myself shamed for our preferences. I'm sure you'll find the perfect replacement. Yeah, well... He was cut off by a soft rap on his door before Gina peeked in. He glanced at the clock, knowing what she'd be telling him, as she whispered, "Your final interview is here. Can I send him through?" He quirked a brow at her emphasis on him, and her sweet, less than innocent smile. He nodded to her, giving her a warning glance, and said, "Sorry, Brad. My final interview is here. I gotta get going. Good luck." He brought his feet to the floor and sat up straight as he said his goodbyes to Brad. Hanging up the phone, he stood as Gina walked back into his office, showing a young man in. "Dr. Kincaid, this is Jameson Gray." Ronan leaned over his desk, holding his tie back against his chest with one hand and reaching out to shake Jameson's proffered hand with his other. Jesus, was he even legal? Ronan's dick seemed to think so as it shifted in his pants. Not the fucking time, Ronan. He was so distracted he nearly missed him saying, "Call me Jamie, Dr. Kincaid." Ronan nodded as they both sat down. "Feel free to call me Ronan." Jamie nodded, and Ronan's eyes were drawn up to the movement of his gorgeous mahogany mop of curls. He supposed his hair could be considered short, but it was beautiful and unruly in the way only naturally curly hair could be. Each curl was clearly defined, and he found himself itching to run his hand through it and see if it was as soft as it looked, and if, when pulled, the curls would bounce back in place like he thought they would. "Get your shit together, Ronan." When he finally met the young man's eyes, they too took him aback. They were striking, with their variegated shades of gray, making his last name seem like more of an adjective than a proper noun. Ronan realized he'd been staring and cleared his throat, looking down at Jamie's resume. "It says here you graduated top of your class at University of Brighton." As Jamie answered in the affirmative, Ronan glanced down again to double-check the dates on the resume, realizing he couldn't tell his age by his graduation date. Flipping through the pages, he quickly realized he couldn't be all that young, with such an extensive work background. "You've got a wealth of experience as a traveling nurse working for 3 highly respected hospitals around the country. While we are not a small town by any means, Powell's Point isn't exactly New York City. Quite a drastic change in your career path. I've lived in Brighton all my life, and when I decided to go to school to become a nurse, it seemed fitting to go to one of the best nursing programs in the U.S., but that kept me in the same small town I'd been born and raised in. We'd never gone far on vacations when I was a kid, so when I graduated, I wanted to see a bit more of the country, gathering experience along the way." When the young man met and held Ronan's eyes directly as he spoke, confidence in every line and movement of his body, Ronan had to admit to himself he was impressed. "What about travel nursing did you enjoy?" "I've always been the type of person who thrives on responsibility. Even as a kid, it drove my friends crazy, but routine and order is a must in my life. I love helping people. Caring for others is my calling. I wanted to travel and live in different cities, gain the experience of new places, and enjoy new things. The strict 2-year contract also allowed me to hold on to my need for routine and order." "You didn't want to take a year off and visit other places? Travel on vacation time rather than as a job?" Jamie's curls bounced again when he shook his head. "Nah, I'm not exactly the type to go backpacking across the country, a new place every night. It felt like the best of both worlds. I got to experience working at 3 award-winning hospitals across the U.S. I was able to travel and see more of the country. Plus, I was able to meet so many different types of people." "And that's important to you, meeting different types of people?" "Oh yeah, I'm a pretty social person. I enjoy being with people and caring for others. I don't need a new adventure every day and night. Like I said, I like my routines, but I enjoy getting to know people I wouldn't have gotten to meet had I stayed home in my small town." "So I'm curious, is this another stop on your travel itinerary? Washington isn't exactly a hot spot, so why Powell's Point to settle in? It's not your hometown, and it's not one of the big cities you've worked in." The grin that moved across Jamie's face was boyish and charming, the smile that made Ronan smile in return. "My best friend from college lives here. I've spent several of my vacations in Powell's Point for the last 6 years. I love that it's a nice-sized city without being overwhelming. There's lots of opportunities to enjoy the outdoors, and it's got a real small community feel for such a large population."